Just going to do an update here on the vegetable garden as well. Strawberries are still going. This is an ever-bearing variety called Seascape. Very tasty. I do have a galvanized little planter in here that they started in, and I kind of let them run this last year just because, well, I guess I want to keep them going. Oh, there's a big old weed that popped up. I'll have to pull that. But I do want to get bigger garden beds eventually this year, maybe next year. So we'll deal with that when the time comes. I've got carrots. I think most of these are the variety Bolero. There is also a burpee variety that I planted in here. They're all tasty, so much better than grocery store carrots. And they store a really long time. I just used up, maybe a month ago, I used up my last carrot from the ones I harvested last year. I do just pull them as I need them for cooking. Otherwise, if I don't need them, I leave them in here until November. I wait until just before the soil freezes to pull them out because then they get sweeter. These are beans. It's a bush bean. I think it's Blue Lake 247 or something like that. Blue Lake 47. Those have consistently done really well for me every year. I get tons of beans all season long. They kind of, I was picking about every 2 days, I was picking about a pound of beans. There are 3 plants in there total. Then they kind of lulled when we got a bit of a heat wave in mid-July, and now they've just sprouted a ton of new growth and are full of beans again. So this planter, that is an Angelonia from Proven Winners. And below it are zinnias that I started from seed. I think there are 3 Zahara varieties. The white, I want to say that one's called Red, although it's hot pink, which is usually the case with flowers. They don't always match the color. And back there, I think that's maybe Raspberry Ripple or something like that, one of the Zahara varieties. Again, I like those a lot because they don't have any issues with powdery mildew, and they are very dwarf, so they're good for containers. This bed I had garlic in. I harvested that towards the end of July. Now I seeded some new things. I have green onions, some more carrots. That's a type of variety that's a dwarf variety of zucchini. It stays small. Good for containers. I have it also in that container behind the garden bed, but usually they do better in the garden bed than containers. I have some lettuce. These are Salanova, a variety of Salanova lettuce that I've gotten from Johnny's Seeds. They have had a 100% germination rate for the last 2 years for me, which is incredible. But I also really like them because they take a really long time to bolt, which is nice because it's kind of hard to eat so much lettuce when it's all ready. So I can let them go for weeks. And even after they have bolted, they're edible. They're not super bitter. They're not as sweet, but they're nowhere near bitter. This is culinary ginger, or just ginger. Here in our zone, it doesn't grow long enough to get that like cured the way it looks in the grocery store. It's more of a fresh ginger, but delicious and really low maintenance. I've got tarragon. This is an alternanthera called Purple Prince. I grow that from seed as well. Like how old leaves turn hot pink. I've got an Italian basil that I grew from seed, some dill. The seeds itself everywhere. Some of it I pull out, some of it I just let go. More strawberries here. I have this tarp here because it was grass. So the grass is now dead, and I'll be putting mulch down here sometime soon before winter. Empty grow bags, that's what I use for my shallots mostly. I have a few left, 4 that aren't quite ready for harvest, but I had a really good crop this year. Some more lettuce in that grow bag over there. And then I've got my butternut squash. This is the first year I've been able to grow it in the ground. I've tried it in containers before and just kind of failed. This year it is doing awesome. It is actually full-size squash. It is full of fruit. I think I'm starting to get a little bit of mildew on it, but it's just because it got real humid and we are lacking rain still. Those are kind of the perfect conditions for mildew. No rain to wash off the spores, and it's humid. but I don't think it's gonna be a huge problem. I might spray if it starts getting worse, but for now I'm gonna leave it. I've got different varieties of cucumber down here. I don't really eat fresh cucumber very much unless it's mixed into something, but I do like to pickle my cucumbers, so I've been experimenting with that. This variety is kind of fun. It's called salt and pepper, and it's a lighter cucumber with black spines. So I have yet to taste my pickles. I don't have any ready quite yet. I just do refrigerator pickles. And I've got my pepper area over here. This, I do like to plant annuals with my vegetables just because they're pretty. This is a super cal called Neon Rose. This is my favorite super cal. All of my peppers this year are red peppers. Next year I'll go back to mixing in some orange ones, but I have, this one is called King of the North. I have 2 of these. I've got 2 Wisconsin Lakes. These are, you can see how full they are of red peppers. The Wisconsin Lakes have especially done well this year. Those are have been bred in Wisconsin for northern climates. So they produce a lot of red peppers way earlier than any of my other varieties. These are strawberry blonde marigolds that I've mixed in. I also grew potatoes. I've got self-watering container and a fabric grow bag. I'm testing out both. Those I think are called Oneida Gold. They're also bred in Wisconsin for northern climates, and they've done better than any other varieties I've tried. I have another King of the North. I just harvested a bunch of peppers off of this. This is called Candy Apple. This one, actually, I'm going to get more red peppers off of this. This is Chinese Giant. This one I think isn't as happy, but it's making a lot of peppers. That one, last year I didn't have a lot of luck getting red peppers. They take a lot longer to ripen, but they are really good green peppers. They have nice thick walls as green peppers. So if you're looking for a green pepper variety, I would recommend that as well. I've got some pea pods, sugar snap peas over here. Tried a new variety this year. I do not remember what it's called, but it has done really well. I've got a red cabbage. I also tucked some gomphrena seedlings that I grew back there, hoping that it would keep the weeds from encroaching. There's another gomphrena that I tucked in there to shade out weeds. And they attract pollinators. And then my tomatoes. I think next year I'm going to get rid of these pots and try planting them in the ground and see how they do. They do okay in the self-watering containers, but I think they peter out earlier than if they were in the ground. This one is Better Boy, and this one is Russian Orange, I think, or Orange, yeah, Orange Russian 17. They're both very tasty. And then we're back around. I did just plant, you can see this little grow bag that has 3 Calibrachoa in it. I think Super Bell's pink, Super Bell's white, and then I don't remember this double one, the name of that, but I was impressed at how healthy these looked in their nursery pots this late in the season. Normally Super Bells just turn yellow and wither if they don't have room for their roots or getting iron regularly. So I thought they were a little bit less than $2 each. I thought, why not just enjoy them for the end of the season? Love my clearance plants. Oop, there goes my knocking stuff down here. Yeah, veggies have done well. The one thing I normally do that I didn't this year is broccoli, and I kind of don't miss it. I really enjoy it, and I do miss making broccoli cheese soup with my fresh broccoli because that is absolutely delicious, but it's so big and takes up so much space, and then it's kind of overwhelming for one person to try and use all that produce. When the beans are ready, the broccoli's ready, the peppers are ready, everything's ready kind of at the same time. So I just thought, you know what, we're going to skip it this year, and I don't think I'll go back to it. We'll see. Oh, I also skipped over kind of there next to the, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. I have a pot that has some Bergarten sage and Tuscan blue rosemary back there that I've been kind of harvesting throughout the season. Good year this year for the vegetables. I'm very pleased.